the Russell has had a nice correction, perhaps ongoing. Have you been able to find any new interesting opportunities? And let's start first perhaps from a sector standpoint and then go bottoms up.
One of the areas I really find interesting is, particularly as a value investor, is tech. And I feel like we're in the third or fourth inning of the next wave of technology, which is obviously the mobility wave. And mobile is a very broad category. Yeah, it includes Apple and Samsung and your phones, but there's a whole infrastructure that goes behind it, cloud computing, the Internet of Things, and all those things that people get excited about. And as a value investor, being in the third or fourth inning, that means you're actually starting to put in the infrastructure to support that growth. It's become more than a concept. It's something that's happening. People are putting in the infrastructure, and there are a lot of small cap companies that provide what I would call the nuts and bolts to that infrastructure. So whether it's a Cirrus Logic selling audio codecs to Apple and has this great technology for voice recognition, or a Netgear that is putting in the wireless router that you're going to have in your house. I like to refer to them as sort of the plumbers of the mobile industry, and it's not very sexy, and so people don't care. And so we're at that sweet spot, I think, in the mobile area where it's going to be very interesting for value investors to find guys that
and these companies are generating a lot of free cash flow,
a lot of free cash
solid
flow,
balance sheets.
yeah, great margins, and the world needs them. Fortunately, it's a small part of the total cost of sort of the infrastructure build out, so it's not necessarily the place where people are going to try and crush them on price. So it's a very interesting area for me, at least.
Another area that got hit quite hard, especially in the month of September, was energy. Energy in
yes.
general, the energy complex in general
Yeah.
has gotten hit quite hard. Oil dropped briefly below $90 a barrel recently, and so you've seen a lot of pressure on the sector. What are your thoughts on energy these days?
Where I really like energy, though, is maybe two places. I like it on the services side. People are still drilling very, very aggressively, and they need to. And so if you're on the services side, it doesn't matter what the price of the commodity is necessarily. It matters on unit volume, and that seems to be very strong. A name that I think is very interesting is a company called New Park Resources. They have a composite mat, it's patented, and basically it replaces what were essentially wood mats on a drilling pad. And they have a spill containment system, so it's very environmentally friendly, which is going to be very important going forward. They have huge market share, great margins there, and so that's a good business. But they also have a drilling fluids business, and as you're probably aware, drilling fluids are basically mud and oil, and that's not so environmentally friendly. And they have developed a water-based drilling fluid, and this is one of my favorite words that I've learned this year, with equal to or better lubricity than oil-based. It's basically the drill bit goes through there as effectively or better than it goes through oil, and it has the advantage of being environmentally friendly. So they're picking up significant amounts of share in that particular area, and my guess is 5 years from now it's going to be part of a much bigger company somewhere because the technology is pretty cool.